everyone, welcome to the program. This is Sunday Politics live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Abuja. Let's begin tonight, everyone, straight away. I'll let you know that political parties are now making efforts to tidy up their ends as the campaign period is about to commence. It will be just in about a month from now. For example, the All Progressives Congress APC today come together to make an announcement about their media team, and will work for the Tinubu Shetima Presidential Campaign Council. Today they announced the media team, which has some heavyweights. They include Mr. Bayo Ononuga, the Managing Director of the News and PM News and former Managing Director of the News Agency of Nigeria. He will continue his role as the Director of Media and Publicity. Also is Mr. Dele Alake, a former Commissioner for Information in Lagos State and a former newspaper editor, who will be serving as Director of Strategic Communication, the same role that he played for the Buhari campaign organization in 2014 towards the 2015 election. The Minister of State for Labour, Mr. Festus Keyamo, senior advocate, will continue his role as a spokesperson of the campaign as Director of Public Affairs. There are other roles that have been assigned by the Tinubu Shetima campaign organization, some of which include in assistant and deputy capacities that were equally announced will be working, and the other campaign structure will be announced later. That is for the APC. For the PDP, the presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar seems to be taking seriously the reconciliation effort within the party with some of kind of seriousness, as he has made the governor of Adamawa State, Ahmadu Fintiri, the leader of the Team Atiku. And the Team Atiku on Friday met with Team Wike in Rivers State, Port Harcourt in Rivers State, and they came out with a position, albeit not details, but let me remind you of what was said at that meeting.
We have met as leaders, members of the same political family, and we have open discussion, work in progress, and we will continue. At the end of the day, we will broker peace and we will unify the party and Nigerians.
There is need for us to enhance unity within our party. This is a reconciliatory process. There are some issues out there which needs further deliberation. Then we'll meet again. It's a continuous process.
That was the aftermath of the meeting of Team Atiku and Team Wike in Port Harcourt. River said the Team Atiku was led by the governor of Adamawa State, Ahmadu Fintiri. We understand that not so much has yet been finalized, and totally the issues are not totally resolved. Part of what is generating controversy is a supposed lopsidedness in the top positions in the party. For example, the national chairman position, the chairman of BOT, the presidential candidate of the party are from one zone of the country. And some members and leaders of the party are already agitating over this matter. Well, part of that agitation includes that the national chairman of the PDP, Senator Yocha Ayu, should step aside to create some level of balance within the structure of the PDP. On Friday, a former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party on this program said the BOT did not do enough in the scenario to arrest the situation. They could have done more to help the party stabilize in the face of the crisis. Well, tonight, we have joining me live here in the studio, the chairman of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Walid Jibril. He joins us here in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Senator, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Your friend, the former PDP national chairman, has said the BOT did not play its role adequately. If not, this kind of situation, the BOT is the conscience of the party. It could have done better in its role to stabilize and not allow this crisis, the internal wrangling in your party, to fester. What would you have to say to that?
Well, First of all, I would like to say that the PDP has a constitution, and the constitution regarding the BOT reads as follows. The Board of Trustees shall, subject to the provision of this constitution, ensure higher standard of morality in all the activities of the party by acting as the conscience of the party with power to call to order any officer of the party whose conduct fell below the norms. Based on this, the BOT have been working very hard and made a lot of consultation committees to ensure that we played our own role. And we have discussed enough. We have held a meeting of the BOT, and then finally, with cooperation with the National Party and Atiku Abubakar again form another committee that will look at the problem between Wike and the presidential candidate or the party. And as a result of that, a meeting was supposed to be held by caucus of the party, BOT, and NEC, National Executive Committee of the party. But unfortunately, it has been postponed. Since the postponement of that meeting, the BOT went ahead to discuss and agree on the formation of a committee now made up of Governor Pintani representing the presidential candidate and Wike with Mimiko Derigana representing Wike. And we are fully aware, we support what that committee is doing. There's nothing we can do now without waiting for that committee to give its report. I'm in contact with them. I'm in contact with Pintari. I'm in contact with the other side of the committee members. I spoke to Derigana, and he gave me a hint that soon a report is going to be written, and they're going to send the report to us. Until we see the report, then the POT will now come in a very strong way to take the decision and play the role in the constitution as it is done, not as some people are blaming the BOT. They haven't done nothing. They don't know. They don't know what we are doing. We don't sell our party. We are not here to sell the party. We are trying to make the party to be concrete, to agree and come together and put all the members together.
Senator Jibril, it does look, I mean, from what you said, that you're working hard. Just maybe that your hard work is not enough to resolve this matter. But let's lay it bare before Nigerians, because as a political party that is seeking the acceptance of Nigeria and Nigerians to get into the highest office in the land, you need some level of transparency to Nigerians and tell Nigerians the real truth in all of this matter. From your own point of view, where you are sitting, what do you think is the fundamentals in the bottom line of all this problem? Your BOT has been blamed, but can you tell Nigerians tonight why and what exactly is the cause of this rift beyond what people are saying in the public?
Well, here I want to tell you that what is happening in the PDP is not a problem. It's just a misunderstanding within the party, and there can be misunderstanding everywhere, in your house, with your children, with your family, with your community, everywhere there will be a misunderstanding. The misunderstanding going on in the party is under control, is not exaggerated. by some people at all.
Is he exaggerated?
It's
I mean, is he exaggerated to the point that you have to set up meetings of former governors and governors to be able to reconcile the party? Is it exaggerated to the point that your party cannot even concentrate on some other thing? You have to resolve this crisis and not move forward. For example, Chief Bode George has said on this program that a demon has visited your party in what has been described as a malignant disease for your party. So it's been described. Other national chairman of their party has said the BOT is to be blamed because you shouldn't have allowed this thing to even lead to this point. Immediately after the presidential primary, you should have nipped it in the bud. Did you see this coming in the first place?
You see, we never saw this coming. There was a committee set up by Atiku asking the party to appoint some members to advise him on how to go about of coming up with the vice president of Nigeria. And the committee met and made their spot. It is the power of the presidential candidate to appoint whoever he wants to be the vice president. And he has chosen, he has gone ahead to choose Governor Okowa of Delta State to be his vice president. But this one is creating a lot of problems and so on, and brought misunderstanding here and there. And why should we do so? You should have gone through what the committee has decided, what they have done. They are already appointing somebody, and then he has gone to leave the person and take Okowa. Whatever is the case, this is our party. This is our party that we blame in. And so there should not be any trouble at all. We must come together and solve our own problem. No shouting, people coming to shout everywhere that this has been done, this is wrong. We should do it within ourselves. We can come out with our own solution. And that's what we're doing through the committees we have set. And that committee now doing the work is the committee from both sides. That is the committee from Atiku, the committee from Wike. And this committee, we're in contact with them. It's very, very important for somebody to think that because BOT is there, like I told you, the function of the PDP on what to do on this issue. We should not just come like that and say, we are the BOT, we are going to do this, we are going to take action on whatever we want to take. Some people are saying we should sack Wike. Some people are saying we should blame Atiku. Which one do we go? Wike is very important member of the party. Atiku is the presidential candidate of the party, elected by convention of the party. We must put this together and put our hands together to ensure that there is peace, there is understanding. People who are making known, bringing others in, connected with this, honestly, are not happy matters.
All right. So, I mean, a lot of Nigerians who are supporters of your party will want these issues to be resolved and amicably too, so that your party can concentrate. The concentration of your party will help the democratic process. At least you can put up a fight against other political parties in the ring ahead of the 2023 election. But the question is, do you have an alternative? Should you hit the wall, brick wall, in resolving this matter, and you are not able to resolve it? How dangerous do you think this crisis is for your party?
You see, let us not take it too far. This issue of misunderstanding is not beyond settling. We are going to settle it. We are coming to normal way. We are coming together at the BOT all these issues.
This is your optimism. Apologies, Senator Jibri. This is your optimism. But it's taking you how many weeks? Well over since the time that you finish your presidential primary, since the time that the unveiling of Senator Okowa as a vice presidential candidate,
yes.
It's taking you well over a month to be able to resolve this matter.
Yes.
So I'm asking you, do you have a plan B? You told me earlier that you did not see this coming. And so that's why I'm asking. Yes. I'm giving you an opportunity to see something, an alternative. Yeah. When there's a failure of a dispute resolution, there is always an alternative to get out of the quagmire where you are right now. And that's why I'm asking, what is your alternative? Is it very difficult for you to move away? If, for example, you are not able to resolve Atiku and Wike's rift, what would you do?
Yes, our alternative is to wait. We have given an assignment to a special committee, very responsible people, to go into it, to settle this matter. We have not seen the report yet. We are waiting for the report. When the report is out, the BOT, the National Party, the NWC, Atiku, Wike will be brought together and then discuss the reports. And whoever says no to what is there in the report, then the party now will take action. The BOT will meet and take decision on that report. But before you see something is happening, and then you set a committee. The committee is working, and some people are saying, take decision now. You have to take decision.
You know the reason why? There is a history of that.
Yes.
There was a committee that also advised the candidate on who should be the running mate.
Yes.
That didn't resolve your problem. It caused more problems. So that's why I'm asking. Your problem in your party seems to have gone beyond setting up committees where there are individual differences. And that's why I'm asking if you have alternative. Now, if you consider all of these, optimism is your best bet that you get this done. The question is, again, what are the demands that are being brought to the table? Can you tell Nigerians? What are the demands that are being brought by the different parties?
One, first of all, you see, there is an issue of this nature. It has happened to us before. And you have set a committee. Wait for the report of that committee. This is that committee. We had that before. Madu Sharif was there at that time. And it come to an end when the BOT had to turn. After all the committees, all the decisions, all the blah, blah taking place, will come out to take two decisions. One at the convention in Port Harcourt, when Atiku was elected as the presidential candidate in Port Harcourt in 2019, and then Madu insisted that he does not agree, he will do that, and we turn him up. And we said our mind, and we supported at that time, and left him by the side, and go with the candidate of the third at a convention which took place in Port Harcourt, organized by Okowa, the governor of Delta, on Umahi, former governor, member of BOT, Umahi. And that we followed it. People were not happy with us, but the BOT truth is stand. So what I'm telling you now, wait, by next week, we are going to get that report.
All right.
When we get that report, and we find that somebody is wrong, or what has happened, we will come up openly to tell the party that is wrong. Whatever we can do, we will do it in the party to make the party remain as PDP and wait for our own 2003 election.
All right. Give us an understanding on where the BOT stands right now. The agitation within the party. Part of the demands that has been set have been brought to the table. is that there is a need for the national chairman to step aside. And the agitation is that there seems to be some kind of lopsidedness in the arrangement or in the positions, the top ranks in the party. For example, your national chairman is from the North Central. The chairman of the BOT, your humble self, from the North, from the Northeast. The national chair, the presidential candidate of your party from the Northeast also. And they believe that this is just unjust for your party. Those who are having these feeling. Now, the national chairman, Senator Ayu, that is, has been quoted to have said, quote, if the PDP says I should step down after a presidential candidate emerges and happens to be in the North, I will be very glad to do so, because what we want is to take over the government and run in the interest of Nigerians. I will sacrifice anything to ensure that my party wins. For equity and fairness in your party, you think that this is a possible path to tread?
You see, to tell the truth, it will not be fair for the president of Nigeria to be from the North, the chairman of the party to be from the North, and to talk of the BOT chairman also from the North. But look at what is there. Me in particular, I have a tenure of 5 years. I've spent 4.5 years already. Only 6 months remaining for me. So I know I can go at any time.
So you can sacrifice your position?
Oh, simply.
But would that create the balance that the other side is asking for?
Yes. They're asking for the national chairman to leave because the chairman has already been appointed, not elected yet, from the North. And so what I think he's thinking is that why not leave, and the election is held and the announcement is made that Atiku is the president of Nigeria. So naturally, whether he like it or not, he has to leave. Whether he like it or not. Like myself, I'm too eager to leave because of this month. My own tenure is only 5 years and no more. I cannot go for anything again. That is the end of it. And so it's a very simple issue.
Section?
And party,
yeah.
The party, you see, is looking at all these things. And the party would sit down and discuss. In fact, there was supposed to be a caucus meeting, BOT meeting, INEC meeting, but it had been cancelled, postponed, waiting for what is happening now. Once we get the head of what is happening now, all these things will be settled amicably without any shouting. We know what we are doing. The party knows what it's doing. We will take our decision immediately without creating any problem to Nigerian or the party.
So even if the party is going to yield to the agitation for Senator Ayu to leave, it won't be now. It will be after the election, after the presidential candidate must have won. Is that the position of the BOT?
What I'm saying is that we should wait. And what is in front of us now, this committee sets up to reconcile Wike and Atiku have finished their work. They will now submit their report to us. It's on that basis that we will now go ahead to lead with the other complaint of people who are saying this should be done, this man should leave now, and so on. Now, now will not answer the question. We can't put 2 irons in the fire. That's one that we are waiting for now. We want to settle this matter of Wike, and then make understanding. They have gone very far. Maybe by next week, we enter next week, I'm sure by next week, everything is going to be okay for us. And when that is settled, then we begin to think of other things again. But if we don't wait for what is happening now to solve it, the problem will continue like that.
But why has it been that you are saying that they should wait? But part of the demands to settle the problem of now is that agitation. Mm-hmm. They want that spread and that equity to be on the ground before you go into the election. Mm. That's part of the demand. And they're saying it cannot wait.
Yeah, people who are making that demand, the BOT have not received in writing that demand.
Maybe it will come into your report, the report that is coming to you from the committee.
Oh, if it comes, that's good.
But are you okay with the fact that you are going into an election? Yeah. If you take this away from your party, you're going into an election and on the campaign podium. Yeah. And I hate to discuss the issue of religion and ethnicity. Mm. But at every point in our lives, this is something that we cannot, nobody runs away from his own shadow. It is with us. It has shaped our politics. And it's perhaps going to be here with us forever. As long as there are Yorubas, the Igbos, Hausa, Jukuns, Igbomino, anyone, any tribal ethnic group in the country, this is going to be with us. The issue of even distribution of position and wealth is going to be a major discussion. How do you hope to get on the podium, the campaign podium, and tell Nigerians that we are a party of a national spread, and you have, like you said, that is not fair. The national chairman from the north, presidential candidate from the north, yourself, national chairman of the board of trustees. How do you tell Nigerians that you're a party that is in love or that understands even spread, fairness, equity, justice?
That's what I'm telling you. This committee set up would certainly bring this matter in that spot. If they want the issue to be resolved, even if they don't bring it, it's going to be brought. There's going to be a national caucus meeting. There's going to be BOT meeting. There's going to be INEC meeting, where this matter will have to go.
When did you fix the meetings?
It has been cancelled.
It's been postponed.
It's been postponed. I'm waiting for all what is happening now. Otherwise, we would have met already to take our decision on what you are asking me now. If the caucus first, if we have this kind of problem, the caucus, national caucus will meet. BOT will meet. Then the NEC, National Executive Committee, will meet. And that is the panel before we take it to National Convention. But now people are talking. There are no records to show that that matter has been brought officially for discussion by any organ of the party. Once it has been brought to us, I'm telling you, even there, many of us, if that thing was brought openly there, from our part we say, thank you, we are going. That's nothing. What is different?
On a final note, Senator, and I'd like to ask you this question because this is what concerns Nigerians. Yes. Nigerians are looking for the leadership that will benefit them in 2003 going forward. Whichever political party that lot falls on will be the party that will listen to the yearnings of Nigerians in terms of economic prosperity, securing this country, uniting this country, and a lot of issues. Is your party the kind of party that Nigerians should, 2023 I meant to say, is your party the kind of party that Nigerians should look forward to, and why?
You see, what I always say, we have in front of us a major problem. That is the problem of 2023 election, which overrides all what is happening now. So let's put all this aside.
I'm talking about the general election. I'm not talking about your party now.
Yeah,
We've discussed enough of your party.
Yes.
So let's spend the next 40 seconds. That's your final word on the program to tell Nigerians whether or not, is there a different PDP that we should be expecting? What else should Nigerians be expecting? What are you bringing to the table? Do you have solutions to the problems of Nigerians? Can your party trust, can Nigerians trust your party going into the 2023 election?
Yeah. You see, I can tell you, it's the PDP, that word, PDP, that will come with many amendments, many suggestions that will come with it. And any party that come would that happen some amendments on what it's doing. And this is the kind of thing we're waiting from the people, and people who advise us. And this is what we are going to do. In 2023, we are going to be okay. The party is okay. We have no problem. We are PDP. We are straight. We are going to...
Thank you so much, Senator Wale Jibril. And hopefully your party resolve this problem so that you don't distract us, Nigerians. What we are looking for is those who will better the lot of this country. Resolve the problem quickly.
Yeah, that's
so
what
that, so that we can concentrate on the issue.
This is what I'm telling you. when the other man came to you, that former acting
national chairman,
national chairman, he was not a chairman.
He wasn't a substantive.
Acting.
Yeah.
He was acting chairman. He was also acting BOT chairman. He was never made chairman at all. I talked to that man when he was in London, advised me on what to do. He gave me very good advice. I apologize in advance. And suddenly he come and say, he's the board of BOT. Is he not a member of BOT?
He's your friend.
Eh?
He's your friend.
He should have called me. He would have called me.
You always say that it's a family problem. So we hope that you resolve your family problem.
That's why I don't want to talk mad. He already about that to me. He wrote a letter.
Okay, he apologized to you?
He apologized
about
to me.
The Friday program?
About what he
said he said to me on the program.
He said it's very important that he didn't understand matters of what was happening. And that's why he mentioned BOT.
And that's why we brought you here tonight, so that you can clear the air. Thank you so much, Senator Wale Jibril. It's good to see you again.
I better tell him to come back and say it to the public.
I appreciate it. Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Wale Jibril, thank you so much indeed for coming tonight.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We take a break, everyone. And when we return, the controversy over the mode of transmitting the election results in 2023 gets our attention next. I'll be joined by chieftains of the PDP and APC to discuss what INEC said today. Will INEC maintain the manual way of collating and transmitting results in 2023, or it will stick to what? The Electoral access? Stay with us, we'll find out after this break. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Earlier today, there was an apprehension that 2023 election might be rigged when an interview granted by Mr. Festus Okoye of INEC came to light that results will be manually transmitted. And it says, contrary to the report making the rounds, it has not discarded the electronic transmission of election results. The Commission says that INEC is not contemplating a revert to the manual process of result transmission. In clarifying this, INEC says in a statement released earlier that the confusion regarding what method has been adopted stems from a recent short interview granted to a national newspaper on the procedure for result management during elections. So that's the reason why tonight we'll be discussing some of the issues that have been raised. And it says it will transmit result electronically, similar to what we saw in Osun and Ekiti elections. Let's get talking about this. I have two gentlemen joining me. I have Mr. Kabiru Faskari, a chieftain of the APC, who joins us here live in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you very much.
And I have one of the spokespersons of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, who joins us live from London virtually, Mr. Daniel Buala. Thank you so much, Mr. Buala, for your time. You went to town today, Mr. Buala, and you were very worried about the interview granted by Mr. Festus Okoye, although he has, INEC has come to say, no, they will go with electronic transmission of result. But what exactly was your position?
Well, thank you for having me. And to put the record straight, it was only after I did the TikTok clip where I raised the concern that then INEC issued that report that you read, clarifying the issues. You can look at the date, we see it's today. Ordinarily, INEC does not work on Sundays. But it's important that INEC clarifies that. And that decision to promptly clarify, I think, is a good plus for INEC, and we must commend them for that. Thankfully, the same person who created the ambiguity was the one who did the clarification in the person of Festus Okoye. You see, it is said that the price, internal vigilance is the price of democracy. Democracy, that's why in election you hear they say that a voting is not presumed to have been concluded until voters vote and they wait for their votes to count. It is vigilance. Now, if you look at Edo, you look at Anambra, you look at Ekiti and Oshun, there has been a precedent. And all these states where these elections were conducted, applying both the manual and electronic, were successful. Nobody raised objection. In fact, almost all the tribunal cases in court hinged around probably a candidate challenging the qualification of the winner or challenging the certificate of the winner. But people have not been able to successfully shoot down the process and procedure because it is quite accepted and acceptable. So we feel that you don't fix something that is not broke. You don't try to bring solution on a situation that has no problem in the first place. The interview, no doubt, quite frankly, created ambiguity. And why we raise the concern is because we know that the genesis and revelation of election is conducted at the polling unit. Every other place after the polling unit is merely either reechoing or manipulating what has happened. It is at the polling unit people vote. First of all, they get accredited. The beavers is there. They get to vote. The votes are counted. The agents sign, and then it is electronically uploaded into the server. So when he said in that interview that there's going to be manual collation, without explaining that actually Section 60 talks about the combination of both. So anytime you talk about manual, you must also include the electronic. That's why it is called manual. That is why it is called manual and electronic transmission. They are like twins, same as twins. They are like two feathers, one and the other. They move together because at the polling unit, you began the manual collation. When it is uploaded to the server, it has now gone in electronically. And by the time the polling agent gets to the ward and presents a result different from the one that was announced and uploaded into the server, then you know fraud has taken place. By that statement that they are going to do a manual, by in 2023, there is going to be a manual collation of results. What that meant, which was why, throughout Nigeria people complained, was that in the event of conflict, the manually generated result will take precedence over the electronically computed and uploaded result. Now, if that is meant to stay in the minds of people, then what it means is that the polling officer who takes that physical result without prejudice to the electronically uploaded result can replace the result somewhere along the way. By the time he gets to the ward, the people at the ward are not the people that were at the polling unit. So if it is manipulated, very rarely would you see agents of the candidates being able to prevail, because in most cases, the security operatives give them away. But why we maintain the position, it has to be conveyed in the same language and manner in which it has always been, that it is a collation and transmission, is that if it is manipulated, you can always have a recourse on the electronically uploaded result, which now becomes a conclusive proof of the finality and genuineness of that result. Why are people raising this doubt?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, please. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Why people are raising the doubt or are being vigilant or are being a bit careful is that not too long ago, you know the provisions of the Electoral Act Section 84 and Sub 13, which is clear and unambiguous. And it is to the effect that if a political party presents the name of a candidate who did not comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act in the conduct of the primaries, that INEC shall reject the name of that candidate. That word shall is mandatory. It places no discretion on INEC. And because of the provision of that Electoral Act, you find that a particular political party came up in the primaries where people were gunning for 2 positions. As a result, they failed to participate in their primaries. And the party sent their names. Initially, INEC took a very strong position and said, we're not going to accept that because there is no compliance with the Electoral Act. And not long after that, you start hearing mixed reporting that the names have now been accepted. So because of that, people are now expressing this fear that INEC does not have discretion. You cannot, in a state A or in one situation, say you are rejecting, in another one, say you are accepting because Section 84 sub 13 leaves no discretion to INEC. You must reject that name.
Okay, so now for clarity's sake, because when that your post came up, there those of the political party side here were saying that, oh, the PDP is already jittery, that it's perhaps going to lose the election. And let me clarify to Nigerians so this understanding is there before I allow Mr. Faskari to come. In 2019, what was prevalent in 2015 was that if the electronic process does not work, you can revert to the manual process of accreditation or the record of result. For example, you can resort to using the incident forms. But if you look at the Electoral Act 2022, from Section 60, it tells you what you need to do at the polling unit to record result. And from Section 70, 71, 72, 73, and 74, it still tells you that manual process of recording result is still very valid. You have to sign, countersign, give it to officials to transmit from the polling unit to the ward level and all of that. It does look like the manual will still stay with us, and the process of electronic result transmission, like we saw in Ekiti and Osun State, will still stand. So let me bring in Mr. Faskari to give your own side of the conversation.
I wish that you
from your own
me
party
to say
point
something.
of view. Some of your members of the party, as soon as Mr. Buala came to say, oh, there is some funny things happening here. They say, oh, maybe the PDP is jittery. What are your thoughts about the clarification INEC made today?
Well, I think it is very good that they came out with this clarification because a lot of the times, out of mischief, some people will bring in many things, even against the PDP. I'm not sure that he intended to say that they were jittery or anything. He just made an observation, and he's a lawyer. Now, but the fact is this: if anybody comes in to bring any issues where there are no issues, there will be many sides of the coin. The APC is confident that it is going into the election, and it has no fears whether in any way that the results are transmitted. If the PDP has any hang-ups over these issues, I do not know. But I want to believe that he made this observation and it respects and it echoes with his level of scholarship. And he's a lawyer. Now, other people can say a number of things, but this clarification will put to rest everything that is out there. And then, of course, you know, the issue of electronic transmission of anything is very clear from a scientific point of view. The manual has to be there because whatever you do, it's what you put in that comes out. I mean, so you cannot do away with that. I mean, this is something that should be known by everybody. Whether this stays or not, whether we mention it or not, someone is going to impute whatever information they want, and it will be transmitted electronically. So for it to be authenticated, you need to sign, you need to own it up, and all that. This will have to be there.
Now, let me bring back Mr. Buala. And so this is a fundamental issue. If you look at Section 71 and 72, it mentioned the Electoral Act 2022, it mentioned the fact that the result might be posted on INEC website. Of course, the guideline of INEC talks about the IREF portal. The Electoral Act was very specific. In the eye of the law, is there any contradiction in that?
So the INEC put the website. Website is like it's like a domain where you have the portal as part of the elements in that domain. So the Electoral Act mentioning website is to ensure that it is broad and all inclusive, so that if INEC has a method other than a portal in uploading the result, they can still be covered by that. Let me tell you the marked difference. Why we talked about that, people are feeling that we're jittery. In 2019, if you remember, right up to Supreme Court, the key problem was that the testimony and the evidence adduced by APC, when evidence was laid to suggest there was a server, you remember there was a denial that there was no server and that the server has gone down. Now, in the 2023 election, there will be no excuse to say server has gone down. This must be made clear to everybody. That's why even in these states we have mentioned where they've had election, if electoral officers are saying they don't have internet, voters will produce hotspots because it has to be electronically uploaded at the time. If it is manually concluded without uploading it electronically, it can be manipulated before it gets to the portal. And why the worry?
But sorry, Mr. Boala, any electronic upload from what the law, from what is saying on the Electoral Act, looks to me as a backup, not the main plan. The manual is still the primary way of transmitting the result. Do you see it as so?
No, the electronic uploading, the result uploaded into the electronic platform, otherwise called the portal, now becomes a check and balance to the manual result. Meaning that if the manual result, probably in the course of movement from the polling unit to the ward and whatever, creates a problem, you must rely on the electronically uploaded. In the same way, where there is a discrepancy with the electronic, let's say in court, people are now talking about electronic evidence, and there is a discrepancy, you must also fall back to the manual. That's why I say they are like Siamese twins. They have to go together. The interview he granted was construed as though he is saying there is a departure from the electronic to the manual, or that the manual is the dominant factor. And why is the worry? Let me tell you that, Mr. Sheun. In the process that led up to the amendment of the Electoral Act, it got to a point where Sub-13 was put to vote in the National Assembly. Check the list of individuals that voted against it. They belong to a particular political party. The process that led up to it, they voted against it. So it is not surprising when people begin to raise eyebrow. And you must permit me to respond to the feeling of jittery. Let me tell you, if there is anybody that should be feeling jittery and be competing with APC, it is probably Labour Party, not PDP. Even PDP as a political party are acutely aware that they are not winning this election. You can see the way they go all out. So, I say PDP, APC. PDP is better positioned at this moment. Why do I say that? It's the major opposition party, and the ruling dominant party has failed in the three core objectives of why they were voted into power. So naturally, the default position would be for the voters to vote for PDP, but that is just even one. The more deeper argument is to look at the political party. You just finished interviewing a PDP chieftain about what you call the crisis with Wike, and that's the only thing people, when they talk about PDP, they say crisis. In the case of APC, 20 states in Nigeria have parallel executive. The entire Northwest are not in support of this movement because they felt betrayed by the flag bearer of the party who did not pick a member from the Northwest. You have reported as a TV station all the three geopolitical zones in the North. Various groups have issued a directive, or rather a demand, that the vice presidential candidate must be dropped, otherwise there will be no progress. Then you begin to look at those who competed alongside their flag bearers in the primaries. All of them are having problems in their respective states. And they feel betrayed by the fact that just because I challenge you in the primaries does not mean my political relevance or life is going to go. They have multiple problems confronting them, plus the fact that there is nothing to show for in security, nothing to show for in the fighting corruption, and nothing to show for in the economy. Now, some people are arguing here in England that Nigeria is on a fast lane, on a fast speed, heading towards what we call superinflation. Superinflation means total collapse of the economy, because it gets to a point where there is no control. There is no way you can control the economy at all. This is what Nigerians are facing. So how can a party that is already at a disadvantage feel that PDP that is already on course is the one that is jittery?
Let me allow Mr. Faskari to come into the conversation. Need not ask you any question, just respond, basically.
Well, you see, it's good to be optimistic. It will be foolhardy to say that your party is going to lose and you are not on an even keel to be able to compete. What Mr. Boala is saying is expected. He's supposed to eulogize his party and all that. But we know where we came from. You know, we have had 16 years of PDP, and we know what happened. Certainly, yes, we have challenges of insecurity and all that and with the APC, but we are not talking about our differences in the state. It is PDP that is busy. The chairman, BOT, was busy talking about teams selected by Wike and whatever, and then it is in the public domain that there are problems in the PDP. Whatever problems we have, we are at least able to manage them. So, and when we go to the elections, everybody will now see what we can do. But I want to talk of something. I'm from the Northwest. We've had our own share of leadership. I mean, it will be silly, for instance, for the South or Northwest to say that you must get a vice president from the Northwest. I mean, nobody will bring that argument. I have not had any of that argument because I have been around. I've been covering most of the congresses, the elections, and all that. I have not had that argument. But certain people may have aspirations. It is just a coincidence they are from the Northwest. But the bottom line is you must look at it. You must be pragmatic about it. The candidate that has been chosen as the vice presidential candidate is from the Northeast. He happens to be a Muslim, but that is not the issue. The issue is Nigeria. I am a farmer. If a pagan produces anything, I eat it. If a Muslim does, I eat it. If a Christian does, I eat it. We have no borders. I'm an architect. If a Christian gives me a job, I'll take it. If a pagan gives me a job, I'll take it. But this is Nigeria. We have to recognize that we have this admixture of different tendencies, and we have to live together. If we hop on because this one is this one and this one we will not get progress, then we are in trouble. When are we going to get out of this? So I don't want to, it's reductive to argue in this way. I mean, I have not in any way in my life considered that you, Sheun, you are from another part of Nigeria and therefore I should deal with you in any way. I'm a Nigerian, true Nigerian. I do not segregate against anybody from Nigeria. So I don't see that as an issue that I will waste my time on. Nigeria should start looking at progress and make people appointed on merit and then vote and bring forward people on electability. If you can be elected, you are there. Unless the rules change, there is nothing you can do about that. When you want to select somebody to be your running mate, you must look at his suitability. And electability is very important because you are going into elections. If anybody says because he's a Christian, because he's a Muslim, because he's Yoruba, because he's Igbo, because he's Hausa, that is reductive. For me, it's reductive.
Let's close the conversation now. We are just about 20 seconds each to be able to close the argument. Mr. Boala, what are your final thoughts in 20 seconds, please?
Yeah, he introduced the identity politics like a bet to see if I will fall into it. We've left that identity politics. The real question, Sharon, as I conclude, I will tell you that Nigerians will hear because they will go with the same line of argument. PDP had ruled for 15 years. PDP put us into this trouble and all that. The Nigerians will ask themselves question. What was the price of food item in 2015 and the price now? What was the security situation in the PDP of 2015 and the APC of 2023? What is the economic situation of PDP in 2015 and the economic situation of APC in 2023? What is the unity level of the PDP in 2015 and APC in 2023? And after all is said and done, they will say, as of 2015, what was the path Nigeria was moving towards, and what is the path that Nigeria is moving now? So it's all about referendum. Whatever is their answer, they will put it on the vote on that day.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Boala. 20 seconds for you, Mr. Faskari.
Well, you see, it is. I will want to answer this. The question of food inflation or inflation whatsoever is global. I have family in the United States. There is inflation. Groceries cost a lot. Everywhere in the world, food is an issue. If you remember that in September, the Secretary of the United Nations convened a conference to flag off the issue of food system. The food systems of the whole world needs reinvigoration. So the question of inflation, food inflation, as Barrister Bwala wanted to talk about, is really not there anymore because this is affecting everywhere in the world. It's a global problem.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kabir Faskari, for joining us. It's a pleasure finding you here again. Thank you so much indeed. Mr. Bwala, thank you so much indeed for your time. Appreciate it. But that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Have a wonderful evening.